Ideal. Her diligence and intelligence make her ideal for the job. Idiom. To be on top of the world is an idiom that means to be very happy. Idle. Anne doesn't want to live an idle life. Ignore. I never ignore advice from other people, even though I am my own man. Illegal. It is illegal to drive when one is drunk. Illness. Too much work and too little rest often result in illness. Imagine. Nobody has ever imagined him becoming a famous writer. Imitate. Alice is really good at imitating her teacher's Fujian accent. Immense. Migrating birds cover immense distances every winter. Immigrate. Some of my friends immigrated to the United States and Canada. Immune. My nephew is immune to measles. Immunity. The president in our country has immunity, so he can't be prosecuted for certain crimes. Impatient. Julia is impatient for her boyfriend's arrival. Implement. What implements are needed for cooking? Implementation. The implementation of the peace plan is crucial to the peace progress in the Middle East. Implicate. Eric's enemies try to implicate him in the crime. Implicit. Julia was implicit in her reply to her boyfriend. Imply. It is agreed that freedom does imply responsibility. Import. Korea has imported many watches from Switzerland. Impose. Parents should avoid imposing their own beliefs on their children. Improve. He put forward a plan for improving the living standard of the town people. Inaugurate. On January the 8th, 1959, de Gaulle was inaugurated as first president of the Republic. Incidentally. Incidentally, John has an inbred responsiveness to music. Incline. Eric's whole family are inclined to rise early. Include. Finding that the final plan includes most of his suggestions, he felt very proud. Income. You'd better live within your income. Increase. Reading novels can increase one's knowledge of life. Indeed, I am indeed glad to hear that you were promoted. Independence. Hoping to live a life of independence, he left home. Independent. College students should learn to be independent of their parents' help. Index. Many people believe that handwriting is an index to one's character. Indicate. Research indicates that more and more Chinese young people choose to study in America. Indict. John and Tom were indicted on drug charges. Indignant. Julia was quite indignant about her mother's advice. Individual. As an English teacher, I know there are individual differences in the ability to learn a foreign language. Industry. The tourist industry is an infant industry in our country. Inevitable. Failure will be an inevitable result if you continue refusing advice from other people. Infamous. New Orleans' red light district is infamous for drugs and prostitution. Infant. He gazed at the newborn infant and couldn't help smiling. Infection. It is easy to catch all kinds of infections in summer. Infinite. Teaching little children takes infinite patience. Influence. The influence of environment to the growth of children is self-evident. Informal. The atmosphere in the meeting is fairly informal. Ingenuity. After much thought, the engineers used their ingenuity to find a new solution to the old problem. Ingredient. He asked me what the ingredients of the soup were. Inherent. The urge to survive is inherent in all creatures. Inherit. Julia inherited her mother's good looks and her father's bad temper. Inject. My mom was a diabetic, and my brother or I had to inject insulin into her arm every day. Injure. His back was seriously injured, and he could not go to college. Injustice. Generically speaking, people believe that justice will triumph over injustice. Innocent. He was charged with murder, but pronounced innocent later. Innovate. Nowadays, a company either innovates or dies. Innovation. We are living in the age of technical innovation. Inquire. Phil inquired whether his girlfriend wanted to meet his parents. Insist. He insisted upon marrying her no matter how his family felt. Inspect. The health department comes to inspect each restaurant in the town once a month. Instinct. Birds have the instinct to learn to fly. Instrument. Language is not only an instrument for communication. Insult. The angry students purposely insulted the teacher by sleeping during class. Intangible. Sound and light are intangible. Integrity. Anne is a woman of integrity. Her word is her bond. Intellect. Bill Gates is a man of superior intellect. Intend. I intend to study literature in my postgraduate years. Intensive. This disabled old man needs intensive care. Interest. My two great interests in life are music and film. Interfere. It's unwise to interfere on matters that are between a husband and wife. Internal. There was a rapid decrease in internal trade. Interpret. Film helps to interpret life. Interrupt. It is impolite to interrupt others when they are speaking. Interval. There was an interval of 7 years between the two economical crises. Intimate. People should listen to their own intimate feelings. Introduce. Allow me to introduce our General Manager, Mr. Smith. Introduction. She usually reads the introduction before reading the whole book. Intuition. Intuition told me it was unwise to argue. Invent. The Chinese invented gunpowder. Invest. I would never invest my money in stocks. Investigate. The policeman refused to investigate the cause of the accident. Investment. Education is a worthwhile investment. Invitation. I received an invitation to her wedding. Invite. She invited only her old friends to her birthday party. Involve. That country didn't want to get involved in the war. Irony. Peter's new play is full of ironies. Irrational. Julia was prey to irrational fears last night. Irrigate. Paul uses the water in Minjiang River to irrigate his garden. Irritate. Michael's letter irritated his girlfriend a little. Isolated. During my first month in Kaohsiung, I felt terribly isolated. Issue. The stamps were issued by the post office last week.